It could be like a toothbrush, or it could be something super like horrendous, like an Apple Watch. I don't know. Dirty shugi. Hello, today I'm going to talk about Japanese consumerist habits that I don't think are worth it. And I'm not necessarily saying that these habits don't exist in other countries, but I do feel that they're either more prevalent in Japan or it's taken a more unique form in Japan. For those of you who don't know, I've lived in Japan for about 5 years now, and I've been studying the language for 10. So that makes me an expert. Perhaps you're moving to Japan soon, or you just have a curiosity about all things consumerism, regardless of the country, then you have stumbled on the right video. So without further ado, let's start. I feel really weird without holding the mic in my hands, by the way. This is weird, but I'll do my best.
Let's start.
The first point is point cards. I am so sick of carrying 200,000 point cards for every tiny little business that exists. At one point, my wallet was literally 3 inches thick and it didn't fit in any of my bags. I'm sick of them in every way, shape, or form. I don't like them in paper form. I don't like them in app form. It just seems like every business has some sort of loyalty program. I don't remember every business in America or Germany having a stamp card for your purchases, so it seems very excessive in Japan. The thing about loyalty programs is that they make you spend more. They give you an illusion of saving money. Businesses do them because it benefits them at the expense of you. There's a bunch of little psychological phenomenons happening when you participate in a loyalty program, such as the endowment effect, the sunk cost fallacy. My hands are flailing everywhere. You know what? I'm going to pretend I'm holding a mic because that makes me feel more comfortable. So here we go. Sometimes a loyalty system does make sense. If you, for example, only go to one grocery store, then you might actually get something out of it. But if you're anything like me and you live in a city like Tokyo, for example, within a 10-minute radius, you probably have like at least 50 grocery stores all wanting your business, and every grocery store will have like that one item you can only get there. You always end up going on 10 different grocery trips. You get like 50 points spread across 50 grocery stores. Like, come on. A really good example, and it's not even a business itself, it's a payment system. It's called PayPay, if you know what that is. PayPay is basically an electronic wallet. It's supposed to have some of the best cashbacks. It's very, very popular. Like almost every store accepts PayPal. Did I say PayPal? Almost every store accepts PayPay in my experience. I did a little experiment once. For 1 month, I decided I will use PayPay only for every single transaction I make. And at the end of the month, I got about 100 to 200 yen back in cash back. So after a year, that'll be like maximum $24, 2,400 yen, basically, right? Feels like $24. Is that worth it? I don't know. No! For some people, that's worth it. For me, no. Also, you don't get the points immediately. If you've ever used PayPay, you know you don't get all the points immediately. You get a portion of it, like a percentage. I don't remember what it was. It was like 10 to 20. But I remember thinking, it says I have like, let's say 500 points, which is worth 500 yen, which is worth like $3. And it shows you on the calendar when you actually get access to these points, and it's usually like a month later or so when you get access to the entire thing. So F that, I'm opting out. Not to mention I'm trying to decentralize my phone usage. I don't want my phone being this supercomputer that controls my life. So I need there to be friction when I make purchases. I've been using my physical card more, I'm using cash more. It just helps me curb my spending, and I feel that'll probably be the same for others as well. Two more personal examples where point cards were literally a piece of the boba shop that I frequent the most. I've been using their stamp card ever since my first ever transaction there, and it's been 5 years later and I still haven't filled it up because I just simply don't go enough. So imagine if I was sharing my patronage across several different boba shops, I would literally not get the rewards ever. But at the same time, I'm not going to that boba shop for the rewards, so maybe it's not the best example. But the principle still exists, right? We don't need a point card. Go to the store if you want to have the item. Don't go to the store just because you have points you need to accumulate, you know? And another one that was really recent for me is Baskin Robbins, or 31 as some people would call it. I don't go there super frequently. If there's a good flavor coming out, maybe I'll go a couple times a month. but usually I don't go. There'll be months in a row where I don't go. After 5 years, I have finally received gold membership. I don't know what the official term is, but basically gold membership. And guess what my reward was? So I got 2 coupons. The first coupon is basically if I buy a regular cone, I can switch it to a waffle cone for free. I never buy the waffles. I always use the cups. I've never had a cone ice cream before. So useless. The second coupon was if you buy a double scoop in the cone, I believe, you can get a mini scoop on top of that for free. So for me, that's useless. Why? Because my tongue is basically on the verge of frostbite after I finish my first scoop. So usually I don't order more than 2 scoops. I usually order 1. So these rewards do nothing for me. I would have to go out of my way to order something I would never really order organically to get these rewards. It's all artificial. It's not mentally worth the load tracking it, and it's not physically worth the load. Like, I hate my bulky ass wallet, and I don't like that these apps take up so much storage. I will say though, Baskin Robbins, if it's your birthday month, you do get a free ice cream, and you don't have to be a member. Like, I mean, you have to have the app, but you don't have to have accumulated points, so that's good. The only point card I have right now that is worth it is my taiyaki point card for my local taiyaki shop. When they have a flavor that's really good, I'll literally go every day, and I fill up that stamp card in 1 month and get my free taiyaki at the end of the month. That's a good deal.
Let's move on.
Point number 2 is seasonal limited edition food items. Now, this can wholly depend on the product and company itself, but I'm thinking of a very specific culprit called Starbucks. Those damn frappuccinos, man. Consumer chinos. Trend chinos. I swear, those are the most overhyped, overrated thing I've ever tasted in my life. And yes, a lot of tourists kind of go crazy for them. They're super popular to show off on social media, and I will admit they are probably tastier than the ones in America. America had like an olive oil frappuccino that deserves questioning, in my humble opinion. So yes, maybe the Japanese fraps are better than the American fraps, but that doesn't make them good. The only one that's good is the Sakura one, in my opinion. That's the one I usually don't miss out on. But let me tell you the story. I think it was like 2 summers ago. The strawberry frap came out. They always come out with a strawberry frap. Like, the creativity is low-key kind of falling downhill, but that's not the point of this video. So they came out with this Amal strawberry thing 2 years ago, I believe. Summer of 2024. And a lot of frappuccinos, they're not sold for that long, like maybe a month max. But this one, it was being sold way longer than it deserved, mind you, but it was being sold the whole summer. And I was seeing people rave about it on Instagram. They were saying how it's the best thing ever. And I was falling victim to the exposure effect. It was just going to my eyes like this. And so I decided to try it one day. I gave it a try, and it was literally inedible. It had the worst artificial and chemical taste I have ever had in my life. And they claimed they were using fresh strawberries, but if they did, I could not taste it. It just tasted like straight up chemicals. And like, I am not a proponent of wasting food frivolously. Like, if something is bland, I'll finish it. I don't want to waste food. If something isn't necessarily tasty but still edible, I'll finish it. But this was straight up toxins. I would rather eat 50 Twinkies. I'm not even kidding. And my taste buds are not refined, okay? I love to eat my potato chips from hell, but that was not it. Anyway, something about the way these Starbucks fraps are marketed is resonating with people on social media, I guess. They are Instagrammable, I guess you could say. And buying food for the Instagram is like worth a video of its own, so I'm not going to talk about that, but I think that's essentially what it is, right? People are doing it for the gram. And when I bought that damn Amal frap, literally I saw like a bunch of girls after that order it, and they were taking pics of it, and they hadn't even tried it. So I was just thinking like, ooh, what if they took pics of this and posted it on Instagram, and then like 2 seconds later they're gagging on it? That'd be so funny. Anyway, ramble done. Let's move on.
Next point. PLS.
Point 3 for consumerist habits that I don't think are worth it is obligatory omiyage. Omiyage is just a Japanese word for souvenirs, but in this context, I'm specifically talking about food/snack omiyage that you're supposed to buy when you go traveling for all your coworkers that you hate and don't pay you enough. I remember I felt pressure to buy obligatory omiyage when I used to work at Daiso, which is just a $1 store, 100 yen store. So I was quitting the job it was an okay job, but like it was not the kind of job where you ever talk to your coworkers, right? I talk more to annoying customers than my coworkers, so it felt kind of weird having to buy a gift for them, but I felt the pressure to buy the gift. So on my last day, I brought in this expensive AF snack thing. And I wasn't even traveling anywhere. Like, that's the thing. I didn't go traveling anywhere, but there was this cultural expectation that you bringing some food as like your parting gift, basically. So the thing I bought had like, I don't know, like 20 little candies in it. It was basically little cookies, and they were like packaged nicely, right? Nothing special about them. It just had nice packaging. That thing cost like $24. Okay, almost 3,000 yen. My pay at Daiso was 1,000 yen ish. 3 hours of my life equivalent to that little omiyage box. And I feel like that's such a mild example. Like, I know of people who work really low paying jobs, but then they have like a million coworkers, right? I only had like 10 coworkers who I had to satisfy. But if you work in a really big office and you have to buy a lot of obligatory omiyage with your low pay, like, why are you working then? You know what I mean? Looking back, it's so stupid. Like, why was I paying money to leave a job? You know?
Next.
Okay, the next thing on the list is gacha gacha. I could honestly make a whole video on gacha gacha, but I feel like I would be very repetitive because almost every point I made in my Pop Mart video can be applied to gacha gacha as well. Every point, honestly. The only difference is that gacha gacha is more accessible and cheaper. But that's a trap because if you tell yourself, oh, it's cheaper, I can buy more of it, right? That's the trap we all fall into. It's a very slippery slope covered in banana peels. And it's sadly something I haven't fully curbed precisely because I feel like, well, it's 300 yen, right? $1.50, honestly. It's not like a Pop Mart that's $20 these days. Just like with my Pop Mart figures, I decluttered a billion gacha gachas along with my Pop Mart video. I just never mentioned it because it wasn't relevant, but I did that too. So I do the exact same thing I did with my Pop Marts. I really only buy them on Mercari if there's a specific one I want. And if there's no specific one I want, then I'll do it. But I really think about if it's something I want or something that'll just give me dopamine for 2 seconds, you know? So yeah, something I'm still kind of struggling with. But at the end of the day, it's better to struggle with 300 yen gacha gachas than struggle with, I don't know, $20 labubus. So I guess that's how I justify it. But I would like to diminish it. I would like to curb it even more, is what I'm saying. And I would highly encourage others to do their best with that as well if they have a problem like me.
Last point.
Okay, the next point on this list is fukubukuro bags. What is a fukubukuro? You might have seen them. If you've been to Japan during the New Year's, you may have seen them before. It's essentially a giant blind bag with a bunch of stuff you don't need. Fuku means blessing or wealth or fortune. So it's like you buy this bag and you're going to be blessed with a bunch of nice things that you don't need. So you don't know what's inside it, but you know, if you're lucky, maybe it'll be something you need. Maybe it'll be one or two things you might actually have wanted. But for the most part, you don't know. I would say it's kind of the equivalent of getting an advent calendar, you know, like those fancy advent calendars that cost $50, but you get, let's say, $100 worth of value in that, right? That's the appeal. You're supposed to be saving money with them, but is it really saving money if you're getting a bunch of things you didn't need in the first place? Of course, there's one way to curb that. I gotta mention it. If you already know you want a certain bag, and if it's popular enough, it's possible that a YouTuber online or an influencer already showed you the contents in a video of theirs, so then you can decide more responsibly if you actually want to get this bag or not. But I find it's very, very rare that you'll find a bag where you like every item in the bag, so it's not going to be worth it for most people. It's usually a bunch of junk, honestly. So every once in a while there'll be a business that's kind enough to tell you what's inside the blind bag, but I've actually never seen that before, so good luck with that if you're in the market for fukubukuro. Oh my god, I just remembered. Sometimes there's even gacha gachas where you have absolutely zero idea what you will get. Like, at that point, it's literally just a casino. Because, you know, for at least for gacha gachas, you get an image of what are the possible four outcomes. You know, like, oh, you might get a bluebird, or you might get a red bird, or whatever. But recently I've seen so many gachas where they don't even tell you what is in the item. It could literally be anything. It could be like a toothbrush, or it could be something super like horrendous, like an Apple Watch. I don't know.
合理主義
Alright, that was the video. 5 consumer habits I don't think are worth it. A common theme amongst all these habits is you are buying something without actually genuinely wanting a specific product. You might have fallen into any of these traps like I have in the past, and no matter how smart you are, you probably will again in the future. So it's always good to be reminded. Let me know what weird consumer habits your country has, and let me know if there's any item on my list that you'll defend until you die. I'll see you in the next video.
合理主義
Consumerism maxing is what I call it.